Hi, I'm Nathan from GUAutotech. Today we are going to go over installation of our 12.1 inch multimedia touchscreen station. We're going to be installing it in this 2015 XLT. This vehicle has no GPS, no backup camera, and by simple plug and play installation with our screen, we can replace all that, and we'll go over that right now. Alright, so the first step for disassembling your stock unit is going to be removing this top tray up here. The base models have a rubber mat. What you may run into with some of the other units is an actual center channel speaker up there, so you will need to pop that. It's not bolted down, it's just going to be pried off. So pry off the speaker, move it aside, and expose two 7mm bolts at the back of the tray. Once we have that popped up, we can get to two 7mm bolts at the top of the screen, and then that will just pop right off. This is all one piece. It is all held in just by plastic retention clips. So you'll want to start from the top and pry your way down and unhook the cables as they come off. That is it. We're going to remove all the stock components out of the vehicle. So on this one we have a 4-inch screen, the control module behind it, and the CD player. It is held on by 7mm bolts. There's 6 up on the top piece and 4 7mm down below on the CD player. So now let's go over some of the cables. A couple of them we won't be reusing, and most of them we will be. So depending on what model unit you have, the display cable, we won't be using that because we're going into, we'll be using our own. The lower USB cables for down here, we're not going to be reusing that. Again, the GUA bezel has its own USB connections on there, so we don't need to use the lower ones anymore. One of the biggest things on here is the stock GPS. We provide our own GPS antenna. You're going to have to install that. You'll be tempted to use your stock one, but more times than not we've seen that just doesn't integrate with the system very well. This one is much faster, much more reliable with a stronger signal. It's going to acquire the GPS faster, so definitely install that on the unit. Now with the GUA wire harness, we can start connecting some of this stuff. They're all different fittings, so you can't hook it up wrong. Only one connection goes into one location, either on the back of the unit or on the wire harness itself. So go over and start connecting some of these with you. AC plugs will have to come out of their slot that was on the post and come down below. And those will plug directly in the back of the unit. This unit does not have a OE backup camera, so for the OE backup camera, this will come separated. All you will have to do is put those two together, and now that hooks up your backup camera to the screen. So this is your microphone cable. This will have to be come in through up here. onto the back of the screen as well. So let's situate those up here. What we also provide is a FM antenna extender, because that is on the top of the screen. So you want to hook that into your stock cable. Now let's get the screen and start actually before that, this is a very important, this is the agreement box or CAN bus. That does need to be plugged in. That's what communicates, and without this plugged in, the unit will not be able to talk with your truck, so that is very important. It comes with tape on the back, you can adhere it in here or there, wherever it makes sense for you. The best position for our GPS antenna is going to be right up in the back of the unit, under the headlight sensor. There's a nice little bracket here that it can hear right on the top of, and it works real good. So that would be our recommended spot for that, and then just tuck the cable down here. The next step is we're going to start hooking some of these cables up and getting the screen on. So down here you'll see your AC controls. Those come from the stock harness. This is going to be some of the power components for the unit. What we do supply as well is we have the USB cable that will take power from our unit to the GUA bezel. This cable will provide the controls for the knobs. You have your AM, FM antenna, and then we have our GPS, and then this is all our other controls for the stock unit as well. So we'll start putting that on. So we got everything hooked up. You will want to make sure the knob and the USB ports are hanging down in between the AC plugs. Start tucking all this back there. Don't want anything pinched. The agreement box situated. Should be able to. Big thing is watching out for the microphone, because you still need access to that once the unit is on. So that'll come under the side bracket. There you have it. And instead of the 10 7mm screws that were holding everything else in on the stock unit, we're just going to be replacing that with 4 7mm to hold in the 12.1 inch screen. We need to take our OE buttons. Some will have 2 buttons, 3 buttons, or split up into 6 buttons in the 3 slots. So we provide the 3 slots. This is a plug, obviously we'll utilize on this vehicle, but we do need to remove these. We'll do that now. These are just held in, press the sides of them, and pop right out. Real simple. Now let's get the GUA bezel installed. So we'll need to start by connecting all the cable connections on the back of it. We've got the USB, the knob control, we have the microphone to get in there, and then the hard buttons on the top. There's no way to mess these up, they only fit into one connection. Try to tuck that microphone cable back in. And again, this is held on by just the plastic retention clips. Start from the bottom, get that started. Now that we have the screen on, or the bezel on, we can adhere the bezel with the two 7mm screws up top, put the tray back on, and adhere that with the two 7mm down at the back. So we have the unit installed, started the vehicle, everything fired up real nice, so that means all our connections are good. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go into the settings on the screen and make sure it matches the model and level of trim that you have to make sure everything functions as it would stock. So let's scroll on over to settings. We're going to go to system, software version, and it is a sequence of taps on OS and MCU. Do that 3 times and it'll pull up the configurations and hardware version. So come down to configuration settings, and this is where you can adjust the F series of your truck. Right now we are on an F-150. Set the series. That'll control some of the other features built into the screen that would mimic your stock features. So we are in an XLT. AC, we're in the base, no heated seats or anything along those lines. So speakers are normal. We do have another version coming out for you B&O speaker guys, but for now we're going to leave this at normal. Whether you have the 360 view or AVM, we're going to go with none on that. Go ahead and click save. So what that'll do, that'll have your AC features match your truck. Everything else should work the same. Let's go over some of the features on this one. So radio, obviously, if this vehicle had 360 view, that would be there as well. We do have a auxiliary camera hookup, so you could do a front camera, rear camera, trailer camera, and it would feed into this when you push this button. We have Bluetooth. The phone hooks up every time you come in the car, or you could turn that off if you needed to. USB drives, you could have photos. We do have a EQ on the unit, USB music, video. We have all our settings, and then CarPlay. If you had an iPhone plugged in right now, this would pop up and you'd have a fully functioning CarPlay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. It's as simple as that to install our new 12.1 inch GUAutotech multimedia screen display. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Call us on our phone number. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and everybody have a good day.